really quick, I wanted to pop in and give a little update. I am not sure what is going on this cycle. Ever since my cycle was canceled, I was not given a trigger shot, so I never triggered those eggs. And the day before that appointment, that Saturday, I tested for ovulation, and it was like so close to being a positive test that I'm almost positive that I ovulated probably 2 days after that. However, I ran out of ovulation test strips, and so I could not test Sunday. And by the time I tested on Monday, the surge was gone. So based on my body and me going by that test, I would say that I probably ovulated either that it would probably have been positive that Sunday, meaning you ovulate, 24 to 48 hours after that. So I would probably have either ovulated either Monday or that Tuesday. So that's what I'm going to go by for ovulation, because I've been testing for ovulation since then and I have not gotten a positive. I had some dizzy spells. I didn't pass out, but I had some dizzy spells, and I think it was because my estrogen was so high because of the amount of mature follicles that I had. I had a few days where I thought I could have possibly been ovulating, but then I've had like sore breasts, sore nipples, which also could be because of how high my estrogen was. So the cycle is really hard to pinpoint, like if I ovulated, when I ovulated, because of the lack of ovulation testing and then not taking the trigger shot. So I'm really not sure where I am in this cycle. I've had a little bit of like breakout. And today, weird thing, I'm only cycle day 18 today. And I had two like dime size spots of like red spotting. And then I've had a little bit of brown since then. Based on my estimated ovulation, I could possibly be 7 days past ovulation, which could be implantation. I have a little bit of cramping, but not anything like noticeable unless I'm really thinking about it. I've started using a needle, which I am still trying to figure out how to do that and if it's even appropriate, because I'm a nighttime nurse. So I can't, my first morning urine, it's not really first morning urine. It's supposed to be your longest sleep in between. So I actually need to redo how I test with my needle. On the days that I work night shift, I need to take it after I sleep and then go back to first morning after that. So this round was just, these few tests are just like for practice for me. I will insert my chart and do like a little voiceover about what it means, and I think what it's tracking, because everybody that's not familiar with the needle. So I will do an insert here. It's describing the needle, showing my chart, and explaining what's going on. But as of now, I am suspecting my cycle to be around February 17th, which is great because I don't want to have a cycle on Valentine's Day. I want to be able to enjoy my vacation without having cramps and whatnot. But then again, I don't know where I'm at in this cycle. I don't know if this brown spotting that's now gone is going to come back as my period. I did get an elevated progesterone level for Anito, which is the highest it's been, which is almost 4. So we will see. I don't know what's going on. I think my body's just all out of whack. And I think that without taking that trigger shot, there's no way for me to confirm ovulation with how my body is doing everything. So I will be back with more information when I get more information. But as of now, I am somewhere in the middle of my cycle. I am quite positive I've already ovulated, and I am just seeing what happens. Oh, I finally got my medications in the mail. So I have more Menopur, a trigger shot, as well as more progesterone. So we are a go for the next cycle if we have to. Hopefully we don't need it, but if we have to, we are a go for our last round. Based on my fertility doctor, we're going to be doing 1 vial of the Menopur instead of 2, in hopes of not getting so many mature follicles. So I think before February ends, if we are not pregnant, we will be on to our final cycle with Menopur. If my cycle starts this month, I will probably go ahead and sign up for a consultation with the doctor that I'm at now for IVF, just to get more information and figure out when we will be able to get started on that if this last cycle does not work. I'm praying that the last cycle works, and that, hell, I'm praying that this cycle works, even though we didn't even like confirm ovulation, or like we just been kind of just living life. So yeah, I'm gonna just continue with the needle testing and just see where it goes. If my cycle starts, I'll let you know. If I get a positive, I'll let you know. I think I'm probably going to wait until maybe a day after I'm suspecting my cycle will start. So maybe like February 18th is when I'll test. And I'll try a live test this time, where I'm recording in real time and waiting for the test to go across with you guys on the phone. All right, so I will be back, and everybody have a good week on purpose. All right, fam. So where do I even begin as far as updating goes? So last update, the medicated portion of this cycle was canceled because of too many follicles, and the risk of multiples was too high, to the point that the doctor was uncomfortable with moving forward with the cycle. And he pretty much just explained to me that because of new laws in Florida, if I were to get pregnant with, let's say, 5 babies, 4 babies, 3 babies, the option to reduce the amount of babies growing in utero is now illegal, and it would be too high of a risk for me to try to obviously grow 5 babies. I personally wasn't super concerned that I would be pregnant with 5 babies, because we've had 3 mature follicles and haven't gotten pregnant. However, I trust my provider's opinion on it, and I would not want to be in a place where I would have 5 babies. 1, because financially that would be a lot. 2, because I work full time, and I would want to continue to work full time even after I found out I'm pregnant. And there's a lot of like health risks and stuff like that comes along with it. So I left that appointment, as you can see on that update, very discouraged a little bit, because we now only have 1 more medicated cycle left that the VA will cover, and that is putting was almost putting a middle strain on it, worrying about what would next steps be, thinking ahead, what would next step be if this next cycle didn't work. And so left the appointment, kind of went on about my life. I was not sure. I did some Google research, which obviously Google is horrible, but I did do some Google research to see when I could expect a period after a canceled medicated cycle, especially because I didn't take a trigger to ovulate those eggs. And so I know that without that trigger, if my body didn't naturally ovulate them, so without that trigger, my body is used to me giving it that Menopur, those injections. And so my body was manually being where it's at with my estrogen levels and stuff like that, but it wasn't there naturally. And so when I stopped the Menopur, my body stopped receiving the extra estrogen, and so my body was not ready to ovulate naturally. I did feel some symptoms after stopping the Menopur. I knew my estrogen levels were pretty high. I had sore nipples, sore boobs, I even had some fainting spells. Some dizzy spells where I thought I was going to faint a few times. And then I Googled it and seen that, that could be because of high estrogen. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, kind of waiting around. And so luckily I was introduced to the Anito, which you guys saw on a previous video. But I was introduced to the Anito, and so the Anito kind of let me know where my hormones were, which estrogen was super high, like over 600, and that's just with urine, so I can't imagine what blood was. But then you also have to look at it that I had 5 mature follicles already, not including what may have grew after the fact naturally. And so LH was flat, follicle stimulating hormone was flat, so wasn't close to ovulating, and then my progesterone was flat as well. So no signs of me having had ovulated. And so around like cycle day 20 something on the 13th, I had noticed that week before that I started having like TMI, watery discharge. So I was like, I wonder if I'm getting close to ovulating or what's going on, because my discharge changed. And so I took a few LH strips. They were negative. I even took some pregnancy tests because I just was like, I don't know, what could be going on, why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling as far as the sore boot and stuff like that. And so with the Anito app, it's really cool because I was able to see that my LH spiked. And I got peak fertility on February the 13th, which is obviously before Valentine's Day. And we were on our way to Orlando for a baby-free weekend of, to celebrate Love Day. And then that next day on the 14th, I got an even higher surge of the LH, and my progesterone rose a little bit. And so 2 days after that Sunday, I got ovulation was confirmed with my progesterone rising. So I ovulated on Valentine's Day, which is crazy, but I did. I stopped testing on Anito because I don't want to be like overbearing with it. So at this point now, I would expect a cycle around the 28th. Hopefully one does not come. We did have good timing. And so I incorporated pre-seed, which is supposed to be like a sperm-friendly lubricant that's supposed to help. We haven't used it. We've used it like early on in our first trying to conceive journey, but we didn't use it on the cycle that we got pregnant. But I just thought, because we're entering almost our last cycle, let's just throw the kitchen sink at it to just say that we've done everything that we could. And so we did. I did. I did not even tell my husband that I was ovulating. I wanted it to kind of just be a natural, Love Day celebration without the pressure of like trying to conceive. And so, yeah. So now I am just waiting. I don't plan on testing early, but I said that before, and then I end up testing early. So we will see. The plan is not to test early, though. I want to kind of wait until at least maybe like 12 days past ovulation, because I'm supposed to go out that Friday before my expected cycle, and so I would probably want to test that Thursday to see if I'm able to drink safely. So we will see. That is the update for now. I don't plan on using the Anito anymore now that ovulation was confirmed at 2 days post ovulation. So I am just going to let my body do its thing, stay hydrated, take my vitamins, and just enjoy working and doing my normal things. So we will see what this cycles has in store. All right, I will update you guys. I guess I'll check in if I start to have any symptoms. Maybe I'll do like a 7 DPO update, and then I will do a live test on camera at 12 DPO. All right, so I will see you guys at 7 days post ovulation. All right, bye.